Hello and welcome to an album a day, day 317, going through all of my media as we go back to one that I covered in vinyl, but I got the CD and bonus first because I wanted to cover it on the podcast and I needed to get it quickly and I knew the album was going to take a while. So we're talking about Deep Purple's 2021 Turning to Crime. This one is interesting. I talked about how great the marketing is. I absolutely love what the marketers did with this. It's a great concept and so much to work with when you're, you a lot of times struggle for what kind of concept are we going to have for our campaign? How are we going to do this? This is just, going the route that they did was absolutely incredible. So here is the front of the CD. Then on the back, everything's done as if it's, detective paperwork. Some things are blacked out. You got arrows, you got string, you got all the stuff. They did strings on the front here for the pictures. Really brilliant. The prison photos and all of that. They did the contest thing where you had to put a series of clues together to solve a mystery to be entered in a drawing to win a signed bass guitar. Don't know what ever happened with that. They had like a phone call from prison from Roger Glover, which was really cool. Just all kinds of stuff. But the way that they did the album, the coffee stains on the paper, the redactions, all the stuff was really, really well done. Then you had like who was accused of what kind of crazy crime thing. But then on the inside, you've got this here and you've got that. Yeah. But this is a digipack, so we don't have a hard case. We just have the basically like the paper sleeve. We get the CD as it is. Don't know how this ties into anything though, like the way that they designed this. Oh, it's the height chart. Sorry, I did know that. But whenever I see it all curvy like that, like it, I don't know, it just throws me off. It makes me forget what I remembered. So it is pretty much everything at this point. Then we have the confidential booklet, right? This is all the, all the stuff on the guys and who's in trouble for what. And a little bit about the songs and the production and all that. Love that photo of Ian Gillan. I've never seen him look scruffier, especially with that mouth, right? Just so the ever defiant Ian Gillan. You get Ian Pace, you get him hiding a snare drum in the trunk and all that. Like, it's really cool. And so the whole concept, of course, if you didn't hear me talk about it in the album version of this episode or this series, I guess, was all about them doing covers because it was the only thing that they could really think of to do during lockdown. I think it was Bob Ezrin's idea, went to them and said, you guys can't get together and record. That's how you create. That's how you've worked together for 50 years. They need to be in a room. They need to have eye contact. They need to feel each other's energy. And you just don't get that over a Zoom recording. So they came up with the idea of doing an album of covers where they could all record remote except for Ian Gillan, who's the only one who doesn't have a studio in his home. And they found a way to get him to a studio, working with all the COVID restrictions at the time. Roger Glover was there. Bob Ezrin was there. Steve Morse must have recorded vocals either from there or home. He would have been probably in Florida, so probably recorded them from his home because he did some backing vocals as well. Really cool album. I mean, it's a neat concept. It's something really different from the band because while they had started out doing covers, which is very common for bands in the 60s to, get some radio play by doing known songs, and then you could kind of squeeze in some originals here and there. Hopefully people would like it. They'd buy the single, they'd hear the flip side, which is an original, and go, oh, I like these guys, let me buy the album. And then it takes off from there. Of course, that's how Deep Purple got their fame. They started with Hush right off the first album. That was a hit. Kentucky Woman, all that. River Deep, Mountain High would come on the next album. So going back to covers is a really interesting concept because for, all the years in between, they really didn't want to do covers. When Richie had suggested Black Sheep of the Family, they're like, no, we write our own songs. And certainly understandably so. You've got incredible talent in the band. Why would you need to do covers? Right. But at this point, they couldn't write original music and get it recorded and develop songs the way they were used to. So they found something alternative to do, which was great. So that is the first half of what we're talking about today. The second half is this came a couple of different ways. I got them separately, I think, because it was less expensive for some reason. I don't know if pricing was wrong in the system or whatever, but I actually ordered these separately. So this is the Locked Up DVD and Blu-ray. Well, this one's a Blu-ray, but this is basically the documentary of the recording of the whole thing. So it's a conversation with Roger Glover and Bob Ezrin, and just like a document of the whole process. And we get that because they've been doing these documentaries with each of the last couple of albums, which are so amazing. You get to see some of the development process, some of the insights from how songs came together. It's really, really a cool thing. And then here you get this on the inside. So all, the same type of marketing, which is really, really well done. You get like the official stamp of when this was checked into evidence and all that. On the back side, you get some more of that. Really well done. But all these documentaries that they do are fascinating. Uriah Heep's done them the last couple of albums. Really enjoyable because if you get invested in the band, you get invested in the songs. Like, I'm not somebody who generally, well, it's early for me, generally wants to go behind the scenes and that. But with a couple of bands, I do a little bit with Deep Purple because I've, been a fan of theirs for 40 plus years. With Uriah Heep, it's been somewhat close to the same. So there are, when it comes to recording processes and all that, insight into the songs or why they chose certain things in the studio. Being an audio engineer, I find it a little bit fascinating. So I do enjoy these documentaries very much, and I'm really glad that bands are doing that, because I would love to go back to an album like Deep Purple and Rock and see a documentary on how that was put together, see, footage of it being mixed and, discussions with Martin Birch and all that kind of thing. I would absolutely love that. And unfortunately, those just weren't documented. So the fact that bands are documenting that now, I think is fantastic. I think it's something that younger generations can learn from, and generations like ours, or mine, I should say, can just enjoy and appreciate on another level what came together to make this album. So anyway, that's our thing for today. Very, very cool. Got another week of Deep Purple Smoking the podcast ahead, another week of the Haskincast podcast ahead. Do have later this month, we have 5 episodes of Uriah Heep, the Magician's podcast coming back, and building up the Christmas extravaganza of episodes for the Haskincast podcast. Got quite a bit planned, actually, so it's going to be interesting. And this year I did decide and already recorded an entirely new review of my 2015 Christmas album, Mental Song 3, Christmas Inflections. So it was really fun. 10 years later, God, I can't believe it's been 10 years, but 10 years later, going back and revisiting that, a lot of the memories of how I put things together, or why, or just the joy of it. And it was a lot of fun to go back and revisit. So I hope that you guys will tune in. That comes out on Christmas Day, of course. And I promise not to promote any Christmas music until Thanksgiving. It's something, because it's such a debate, and it just turns people off, if a lot of people off, if you do it too early. And I get it, because I think the holidays are shoved into our face so early that by the time the holidays are, within a week or two of actual, fruition, we're just kind of sick of them. It's taken away the joy. It used to be that you really wouldn't start thinking about Christmas until after Thanksgiving. The Penny's catalog would come out and the Sears catalog would come out, and you'd just wait every day for the mailman to deliver this just thick ass catalog. And everybody would fight to be the first one to look through it, and you'd start, marking your pages. You fold the bottom corner, the other one will fold the top corner, and all that, and go back and make your lists of things that you hope to get as a gift. And it was just fun. And then you sit there and you look at the pictures and you dream about having those things and what it would feel like. And but that really didn't start until after Thanksgiving, because the catalogs wouldn't come out until that point. So now it's like Christmas starts in August, and it's just ridiculous. I get everybody's trying to beat everyone else to the punch. But if that's the case, you might as well just leave it up all year, for crying out loud. If everybody just agreed to do things the same way, but then the problem is that somebody's always got to be, I know a way to take advantage. I know a way to beat everyone else, because businesses, that's how it works. And I get it, but it also kind of just ruins everything. I remember even a couple years ago, the last Christmas that I spent in Vegas, it was like a week and a half before Christmas that Walmart had completely sold out of all the Christmas stuff in those front aisles where they feature all of that. And they were already putting up Valentine's Day stuff before the new year, before Christmas was even over. A week before, over a week before Christmas even happened, Christmas was gone from the store. And it's just too much. It is. So fortunately, I just avoid all of that. Most of my stuff gets shipped to me, and I can just enjoy ignoring the world as much as possible and creating the limits on that I want. So hopefully you guys will be able to enjoy the holiday season as you like and not have it ruined or just get burnt out on it from the way things are done nowadays. But hope you're having a great Sunday. We'll see you tomorrow for another episode and podcasts ahead all week. Cheers.